everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 4 of Skip and Loafer. This series is so cute. Oh, I love Kunami. I realized last episode as I was editing, I'm like, will I get her name right at some point along with Yuzuki? Maybe. But yeah, I really think Kunami is a great addition to the cast. She's so shy, but so sweet. And then Yuzuki, even Igashira, whose name may be Igashira, I finally got it. Maybe, possibly. But I love this cast of characters. They all have their own insecurities. They have depth to them. They're all very fully fleshed out already, and we're only like 4 episodes in, so that's really exciting. But I have some comments I want to talk about before we jump into episode 4. QYS99ABCD talked about Kinachika being kind of like the drama president is like Hatsuhara from Fruits Basket. I was like, Hatsuhara is the name of the character that I was thinking of. They also remind me about, I was talking in the Discord, they remind me a little bit about one of the characters from Nozaki-kun. There's a drama club president in Nozaki-kun that Kanachika reminds me a little bit of. So that's good. K.A. said the voice actress for Mitsumi, our main character, also does the child voices for Vash and Takada, which they do Vash for Vash the Stampede, the child version of him. And then she also does the voice of Takada-chan from Jujutsu Kaisen, which if you know that show, you'll be like, oh, okay. And then Sousuke's voice actor is apparently a rookie. He's not done any other anime. And I was like, oh, interesting, fascinating, okay. Which is kind of funny because we have the sneaking suspicion that Sousuke might be an actor himself from a childhood show or something like that. So that's interesting. And then Igashira is also Masaki's voice actress from Free. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Now's voice actress is Yelena from Attack on Titan. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. And then Fumi's voice actress is actually Kyoka from Bungo Stray Dogs. I would never have guessed that, but that's so cool. And also plays Yachi from Haikyuu. So cool. Fumi being best girl material all around. And then apparently Mitsumi's mother, would never have guessed this, is the voice actress for Nina from Monster that I'm watching right now on the channel. So all the 7 degrees of voice acting that you can do, it's just absolutely crazy. And I love it. So awesome. Yay, raw. Thank you, K.A. Pancake talks about Sousuke and Yuzuki, the kind of redefining and altering the pretty girl, pretty boy stereotype, which, yeah, because, you know, typically in a story, you think the pretty girl is vain, which Yuzuki is not, and you think the pretty boy is kind of like stuck up or oblivious, which Sousuke is not oblivious. He is aware of so many things so far that we've seen, and I'm like, So, yeah, I thought that was really cool how those stereotypes are being subverted. And then HP Banana 7 talked about how Mitsumi kind of is oblivious to teen drama, but Sousuke is not. No, Sousuke knows the drama. Sousuke sees the drama. He gets it. He kind of works around it. Mitsumi has no clue. She is a sweet summer child. She is a lamb. I relate. She's just oblivious to everything going on. And I'm like, girl, I get you. So yeah, I really appreciated those comments. Thank you all so much. Thank you all also for not spoiling, because I've told the mods, I'm like, so far, fingers crossed, knock on wood, everything is really good. So I hope y'all keep that up. So yay. Or if you have questions about a spoiler, just say spoiler tag and then leave a big gap, and I'll have the moderators check it out and make sure it's a spoiler or not. That helps me out a great deal. So thank you all so much. So real quick before we start, I want to give a special shout out to our philanthropy tier over on Patreon. I'm really thankful for all the YouTube subscribers I have, for everybody on Patreon supporting, but I also want to give a shout out to the philanthropy tier because they go above and beyond and donate more each month that they don't have to. They're just really awesome people and they support my channel and I really appreciate it. So a special shout out for February to Alex Cornejo, to Anime Annie, to Be Happy, to Dana, to Danger Zone, to Destiny Marie, to Eric, to Curie, to Loisaji, to Lyndon, to Matthew Palfiniere, to Nameless Monster, to Murph Hugh, to Shimoyama, to Sunspots, to Trails, to Translucent Men, as well as Nicholas. Thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this episode, see what we get, but we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to dive into episode 4 of Skip and Loafer. We're a third of the way through the season. Gasp. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. She's so bright-eyed. I love how enthusiastic she is. Girl, stop and wave to that dog. Yes! It's right! Yeah. You ever those mornings where you just get out and you feel like good and you see a dog walking, you're like, yeah, I get you. English quiz, got it, aced it. Fresh water for flowers, got it, good to go. Today's gonna be a great day. Don't jinx it, girl, but I hear you. Ah, there's our guy, Kanachika. Oh no, girl. I'm like, dude, Sousuke asked you to not dig into it. Why would you keep digging? He was terrifying when he threatened you. Aw, at least he took the turning down hard. Oh, well, never mind. Girl, don't say that. Oh, you want to be set design? Awesome, we need that. I worry for her. Oh my god. Oh, it lost the ratings battle. Oh, and his dad was one of the hardcore fans. Oh my god, yeah. He was so cute. Like an angel! Oh my god, I'm gonna go back and look at this. So tiny and cute. Oh, uh-huh. Dude, you don't know his past, though. You don't know, like, what he went through during that time. Oh. No! Girl, I would say that's not my business. Yeah, I don't know about that. Don't use her. That's a sign that you should stop. Oh my god, don't use her like that, Hanachika. That's not nice. Oh. She's like, well, I was solicited by a guy in a corner. Oh. What? I don't want to do squats, yeah. But he doesn't want people to know. Yes, exactly. He doesn't want people to know. Good. I'm glad you're realizing this. It'd be tactless. Yes. Oh, no, girl. No. Oh, no. I don't know the answer. Ah! Oh, no, girl. The bloody nose and everything. Excuse me. I'm hopeless. Oh, my God, girl. Yeah, which, fair enough. Oh, no. I don't want to play soccer, though. Ah. Aw. Girl, you ain't subtle. Yeah, something wrong. Oh. Just talk to him about it. Oh. Oh, he's gonna kill him. He was being pushy. Oh, no. Okay, they already know. Okay. I don't want to act. Yeah, there we go. But I did not find it fun. Okay. So his mom, did she die or? Ooh. Okay. Ah. Oh! She's like, no, don't say it, don't. But it's badly underpopulated. Ah, there we go. I love that. Yes. Oh. Oh, yeah, don't make a joke out of it. Oh. She's so sincere and sweet. I'm just doing it for myself. Oh. And you couldn't handle the expectations. Ah. Oh. Oh. Weren't for Fumi. She's my best friend. Aw. Yeah, Fumi's like a lifesaver. Aw, Fumi is the best friend. I love that. That's so sweet. Aw. Like, that's the kind of friend you need, honestly. Like, goals. Ugh. Oh, the way she's in it. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so cute. Oh, precious. Yeah. Just like having a friend that's going to be there for you no matter what. Oh, it makes me want to cry. Like her springing back to life. I tell you, like Ghibli vibes. Such Ghibli vibes. Everybody with their little rosacea cheeks. So freaking cute. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. Be a friend to Sousuke, no matter what. Oh. Absolutely not. There, that's it. I can't tell you. A good friend wouldn't do that. Yes. She's like, don't try to break the shell. Like the little crabs in the background. Well, because you are friends, but maybe you want to be more than that. Tingling and scraping. I like that each episode the titles kind of fall with each part of the episode. I wonder if it's different chapters of the manga. Yeah, because this feels like a new chapter starting of the manga. Aww. Ah. And that's Mukai, right? Yuzuki's like, not me. Ah! You got to go abroad? Oh my god, of course, Tambourine Man. Ah! Mitsumi's like, I've just failed. I thought I was so cultured. Oh. She's a square! Oh my god! I love the teacher monologue. Yeah, what is she worried about? The definition of disciplined. I can't accept these budget cuts. This is a high school. Oh my god. Tokiko. Oh, the soccer. He's like, we're trying to manage Blue Lock here. Don't you understand? Oh, your team ain't showing results. Oh my god! You'll pay for this! Ah, of course she'd be like, that was amazing. She's like, what the fudge? Takamine senpai. The slacker within me! Oh my god, girl! Oh, is she gonna be, like, flattered by that? Uh-huh. Her little badger face, look at her. Oh my god, stroke that ego. I love her little Sakura coffee cup. The biggest slacker of the faculty! Amazing. Wow. Oh, girl. She is efficient. Oh my god. Join me, Mitsumi-san! Oh. Ah. When do they study? Some are naturally gifted and some just work hard. And she's one that has to work hard. Ah. But Mitsumi's kind of naturally talented. Aw. Oh no. Respect. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Do you want a gummy? Yes, she does in fact space out. Yes. Oh my gosh. Make the most of each moment so you don't have regrets. But I mean, that strategy isn't going to work for everybody, right? Oh. Ah, see, this isn't going to work for Mitsumi, that strategy. Oh, and there's her nightmare. But it's 15 minutes. That's not bad. Where did you get that? It was a stray cat right here. Aw. Aw. And of course my dogs would be barking right now. Aw. See, yeah, her experience on a farm would be like, she's not, we'll talk about the buses and everything, but that's such a thing. Right. The bus won't come any faster. Oh. Oh. Yeah, and she found the cat for the lady. See, you wouldn't have got that candy if you hadn't stick. Yeah, oh man, she freaks out a little too much. Yeah, like stop and smell the roses. Yeah, because Mitsumi would love seeing that. No, her spacing out did really good. In moderation, yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. She could definitely become that. Oh, no, girl. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, it's not wasted time. Yes, it is indispensable. You should ask your aunt. Oh, and the little cat. Is that that's the cat in the ED? Aw. That's so cute. Aw. Aw. Love it. Yeah, hopefully Mitsumi, she goes back and talks to Mitsumi and is like, oh my god! Oh my god. Yeah, it's not good if you're losing sleep. Oh, she's the cat. Yeah, okay. About that. Don't follow my lead. Yeah. Oh. Uh-huh. Ah, interesting. That's such a phrase. Yeah. You don't know until later. Aw. Your stupid paperwork. Oh my god. Him spacing out. Yeah. Oh. He's like, yeah, don't talk to me. Oh. Oh, does the soccer club president have a crush on senpai Takamine? Yes, yeah, Mitsumi definitely needs to do things her own way. That's the definition of wasting time. So cold, yes, so cold. Your logic is so cold. Cold but true. Oh my god. Yeah, him saying that with such a smile, it's terrifying. We should probably talk about this. Well, that was adorable. I don't know why my dogs decide to bark. I feel like there's a deer or something walking around outside and they see it and just freak out. And I'm like, could you wait till after the reaction is done? this was so cute. Okay, I'm glad that we addressed the whole child actor thing, figured that out, and that wasn't like a long running thing. Although that does bring about some mystery as to motivation and expectations that Sousuke kind of hints at, but we don't really get an explanation for. So that's interesting. But so yeah, let's go through this episode. Mitsumi is just such a sunshine presence. She's just, girl, I'm not really related to a protagonist like I relate to Mitsumi, and I don't know how long. We even kind of look the same. I just don't have the kindergarten bangs. Like, I could totally cosplay as her. I just take my glasses off, make my bangs a little bit more kindergarten-y, get the uniform. I think we could do it. But her and I, my God, I relate so much to her. Like, if you're having a good day and you're walking outside and you notice, like, the dog or something that the neighbor's walking, you're like, hey. It's like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3 where he's like, doing all that. Like, her just sunshine presence. And she's just so, so wonderful. I love that dog's cheese. Like, hey, you're having a great day, girl. Like, the Snow White birds are chirping and helping her do chores. It's so cute. But what I love about it is, girl jinxes herself. She's like, today's going to be a great day. And then the first person she runs into is Hanachika. She's like, I'm going to stay for my exam. Everything is going to go good. Hanachika's so fun. He does look like Hatsuharu from Fruits Basket, but he's not as much of a bad boy as Hatsuharu is. Although he is persistent. I was like, dude, Sousuke was terrifying in episode 2 when he was like, please don't research into this. Like, if somebody came up to me and with that honey smile was like, get away from this information, I wouldn't step foot near it. I'd be like, nope, mission, got the message. But it's not like Kanachika is trying to do anything sinister. He just wants to know, right? Although he does have the ulterior motive of wanting Sousuke in the drama club. What I like about this show is that Hanachika, even though he's a little bit pushy and he's just like, without you, our future of our club is bleak. What I was afraid was going to happen was that Mitsumi was going to join the drama club out of obligation, seemingly, for Hanachika. I'm glad she did not do that. And I'm glad that he didn't force her into trying to get Shima to join the drama club either. I like that they kind of resolved that plot point in this episode. And we're like, no, that's not going to happen. So we can still be friends. And I'll still help you, behind the scenes, but whatever. Now, I do like this part of the OP where Sousuke, as I'm going through this, he sees Mitsumi walking away and then kind of looks the other way. So curious as she is smiling and everything. Okay, so let's get past this OP. It's so adorable though. I absolutely love it. It's super cute. Someone also noticed that and commented that I said that she was Skip because she was so happy and upbeat, and Sousuke was Loafer because he's just kind of loafing around. But they noted that Sousuke was going to skip class, so he's Skip and she's Loafer because of the shoes. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, so I was like, dude, Hanachika is just very persistent, and we get to see Sousuke as the little kid in the show, right? And I love that she's like, oh my God, he's adorable. Of course, yeah, Sousuke is this cute little kid, right? And it looks like he's acting in a hospital scene. So here's the deal. He said that he was a child actor because he wanted to make his mom happy, right? He wanted to meet up to his parents' expectations. I don't want to know the answers to these questions. Obviously, we're going to find out in the show. But I was like, okay, so did the mom die? Was that something? Or did he not continue acting and thus not meeting her expectation? It seemed a little on the nose that he was performing in a hospital scene where it seemed like someone died and he was having a reaction to it. Also, I think it's worth noting that he looks very expressive as an actor in that scene. But then when we see him in real life, it's like the opposite of resting bitch face. It's like resting happy face. He always seems happy, but it's like he is masking a lot of emotions. So there's this interesting thing where as an actor, he's very expressive, emotive, and all this, but as a person, he's just one note, which seems like it's hiding some trauma. So interesting. Now, interestingly, Kanachika is trying to have this conversation with her while she's just gawking at how he looks like an angel with these big round eyes. And they were having two conversations at the same time. So I wanted to see what did Hanachika say? So he says he plays Kaneda-kun, which is what he called him back in episode 2, the lead's best friend. And she's like, what is Shima doing there? She's trying to figure it out. He's like, he appears in most episodes, and he's like, are you listening? So he was in the series a lot. He's like, what do you think of his acting? And then, yeah, he's acting like a kid that's really sad. So either he's at a hospital and he's sick, or it's someone else. And he says, why are you always like this, Mom? Ooh. So, okay. So he was playing a kid that was potentially sick either at a hospital or at his home, but doesn't have a good relationship with the mom that he's acting with. So is there some method acting there going on? Ooh, I feel like there's a lot under the surface that we don't know about yet. That's like, that we are going to get into. Interesting. He's like, yeah, he was a really good actor at that age. He was really smart. So then he asks her to go try to convince him to join the club. And I was like, that's something you shouldn't push on her, because Mitsumi takes everything so seriously that it just completely distracts her. I do like that she doesn't immediately want to come up to him, and she kind of, the wheels turn in her head, and she kind of figures out, wait a minute, he doesn't want to talk about this. He may not want other people knowing about it too. So I don't want to be tacky and like bring it up. But her trying to figure out what to do, because she's a people pleaser, and I don't blame her. I'm kind of a people pleaser too. And it's like, well, how do it's taken me like into my 30s to realize you can say no to people. Like, that is a hard-earned blessing. Because when I was younger, every time somebody was asking me to do something, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And it will wear you down very easily. And so it's taken me up to this point in my life to be like, you know what? I've got a lot on my plate. I'm going to put that aside for now. And that's fine. But Mitsumi doesn't want to let Kanechika down. She told him she'd help, but she doesn't want to make Sousuke feel uncomfortable because he's her friend. So she's trying to figure out like the compromise, and it just makes everything go awry for that day. The way that her being distracted is understood is like, it's great. And then poor her getting hit in the face with a volleyball. I do love that Yuzuki has her hair up in the little bun. Super cute. And then the one girl that got the accessories from the first episode, she is there as well. Poor girl. Now, Sousuke showing up at the window was giving me major Sasaki and Miyano vibes. Him just showing up being like, oh, hey. Also, again, little tiny cues that Sousuke likes her is like, you know, he said, oh, we're playing soccer and I came to get a drink and then saw you. When people see you and they're doing something else and they stop to take time to come talk to you, that means they're interested. Maybe not romantically, but they are interested in you and care about you and want to learn more about you or talk to you. So Sousuke's given some hints, but our poor girl, Mitsumi, she is quite oblivious when it comes to such things. Our country bumpkin. And he's like, so what's going on? And she tries to like casually ease the way into the conversation, but she doesn't know. And so I am glad that the show does not beat around the bush and make this like a big dramatic thing. She comes out and tells him what Kanechika did. And his face when he's like, oh, is that what he did? I'm going to talk to him later. I was like, I would run, Kanechika. I would run and hide if I were you. But I like that he doesn't get mad at her and he doesn't get like all dramatic and defensive. He's just like, well, people are going to find out sooner or later. And so he says that his one friend knows the Mukai guy, the guy that he talked to on the phone in the first episode. He understands, and all his middle school friends know. And he's like, I don't want to act anymore. And so we don't exactly get the confirmation of why, but he makes it sound like he was doing it for his mom and it wasn't for himself, and he doesn't want to do it. So whether is she still alive? Is she dead? And is the point of it? But it may have been that he didn't like it to begin with. He just had a knack for it. And was she exploiting him? Was it innocent? We don't exactly know the circumstance. Like, it could be something deep and negative, or it could be something just as simply as he just didn't like it and didn't want to do it anymore. But regardless, if you think about it, if that was something he was really good at and he was on that show, because Kanechika says he was on most episodes, and if it was a long-running show, then he was on it a lot. So it could be that it consumed his life for a while. And now that he's not a child actor, it's like, well, what do I do? What am I good at? I was good at this, but I didn't like it. So how do I find what I am good at? So he's kind of lost, right? And I like that Mitsumi and him have this conversation about, you know, why do you do stuff? And for Mitsumi, she's like, well, I'm doing it for myself, but I love her. I love her answer. Like, coming from a rural town myself, she's like, it's underpopulated. And I love that she wants to go into government, but she's like, I could stay local, but that's not going to solve the problem because there are a lot of other places like my hometown across the country. So I want to go a step up to where the actual problem is, can be solved as a whole and do it for all of these towns, not just my own. And that's so good. I love that. I love that idea of wanting to do something to make your hometown and where you're from better. She's like, I want to tackle the problem at its core. And I love that Sousuke, and she kind of laughs it off. She's like, isn't that silly? And he's like, don't joke about that. Like, that's something really admirable. You should. And I'm like, he's just like supporting her so much. He's like, you should, be happy that you have such a goal like that. Like, I can tell he's like in awe of her in this moment. It's so sweet. And her blushing and everything. She's like, I'll do my best. And he's like, you two are amazing. You guys go out there and put your goals and you deal with the hopes and expectations from it. And it seems like Sousuke is kind of running from the expectations because he's afraid of not living up to them. And that's kind of what he's afraid of. And I like that Mitsumi's like, she's like, it's not easy. The pressure gets to me and I get flustered a lot too. And I love that she uses Fumi as an example of being like, you need that friend to ground you in your goals and help you push through the hard times. And like I said last episode, if these two stay platonic and they're just friends, I'm fine with it. I love the idea of Mitsumi and him being friends and her being there to back him up, and they do the pinky promise. But when she talks about like the tingling finger, I'm like, that's the sign that there's more to it than that, right? Because when you do the pinky promise somebody and there's no sparks, you're like, cool, we're just friends. But if you do it and there's a spark, it's like, there's something else there, right? So I feel like she just doesn't understand what that is, right? And God, I love the scene with her and Fumi at the restaurant. Like, it's just everything about the way that the restaurant, like the way that it looks. There's the little raccoon on the shelf there. I've got like a little tiny one. There's a little cat with the paw thing. Just the way that everything is designed and looks and how it's structured. It feels like a lived-in environment. I'm watching Freerun at the same time, and these two shows have very lived-in environments, and they just feel like you could just pull up a chair and be right there with these characters, right? It's so good. But I definitely get like Studio Ghibli vibes from this episodes too. Like, it felt like Spirited Away or Kiki's Delivery Service, where it's this little tiny domestic scene, but it just has so much heart and soul to it. And her like eating the gyoza, and then her eyes getting all big. And it's just like the idea of Fumi just being like, hey, I'm your friend. I'm going to support you no matter what. And if you don't meet up to the expectation, we'll go out and eat anyway. We're still going to celebrate. That doesn't change you as a person. Whether you succeed or fail at your goal, you're still a great person. It's not going to change that, And that moment is just so beautiful. And I love that Mitsumi's like, I needed a friend like Fumi to help me get through. Even if I'm doing it for myself, it made me happy having a friend know and watch over me. And so I like that she's telling Sousuke this, and she's like, and he says, lucky you, like he doesn't have a friend that he trusts enough for that to be the case. And Mitsumi's like, well, then we'll do the same. Whatever you decide to do, I'll support you. And whether you fail or succeed, we'll go eat together afterwards. Like, and just his face where he's like, really? And she's like, yeah. And Mitsumi's so sincere that she's being serious, that she would actually support him. And he's like, that's a promise. And then she goes to Kanachika and she's like, absolutely not. He's not joining under any circumstance. Kanachika's face was just floored. But girl, Hanachika, you are lucky, Kanachika, that you are lucky Sousuke didn't come find you and tell you himself. He might later. Don't know. Could still happen. And I love that he's like, well, why? And she goes, that's a trade secret. Only best friends can know, and you're not one, so sorry. And I like the crabs in the shell, like she's just clamped up. She's like, you'll never know. I cannot tell you. Love it. And she's like, we're friends. But why does my pinky feel all tingly? Because you like him. More so than just friends, but this is going to be one of those slow burn series. I can already tell. I can handle a slow burn. I'm fine with it, but And so then here's the thing. I realized this with the episode titles. Like this one is Tingly and Scraping is the title of it. I feel like those are chapter titles. And now that I'm thinking about it, each episode, like last week, there was a definitive like cut between the first part of the episode and the second part of the episode. And I was like, okay, so I'm assuming that in the manga, we're doing like 2 chapters per episode. So this was one chapter and here's the other. Right. And a lot of them are probably going to be like episodic, like they're just one specific storyline. So there we go. So I like that we have this, like, what did everybody do over Golden Week? Because they take the week off, right? And she's like, oh, well, I went to Tokyo with my aunt and we like went shopping and did all these fun things. And everybody's like, we were too busy studying. And she's like, studying what? They're like, yeah, we have exams coming up. And Yuzuki's like, oh, don't worry, I studied abroad. I'm good. And Mitsumi's like, wait, did I miss something? Was I behind? Should I have been studying this whole time? And I like the second half of this episode with, the senpai. We'll talk about her name in a second. I like that it's kind of getting at everybody following their own path and doing their own thing. And Mitsumi trying to imitate the senpai and it not working out because their personalities are just too different. Even though Mitsumi is an overachiever, she's still kind of like aloof. She's still kind of a dreamer, and it just doesn't work out for her to study the same way that her senpai does. And so I like that this story kind of explores that in this episode, that everybody kind of goes their own route and they can still make it work. The tambourine guy, he just like inserts himself into every scene. He's like, hey, Yuzuki. And I love when I paused it here. And in the scene where he like pops in, he's like, how cool, Yuzuki. And she's like, yeah. You look over to Kunami and she's just like, get out. Girl is mine. Like, you don't understand. I love that. I love that he just is oblivious, just in love, whatever. So yeah, poor Mitsumi has like a mental breakdown and goes to see her teacher. And she's like, I've lost control of myself since I've come into high school. And I love the teacher's internal monologue where she's like, what a square. Because here's the thing. Your teachers are all human beings. I don't think, any of my students, I've never harbored ill will towards any of my students, even the ones that can be annoying sometimes with being a jerk or something. I've never like disliked a student, but sometimes you're like, calm down. I had a girl in my class once that I let them revise papers and she wanted to keep revising every paper till it was 100. And the way our grading scale is, if you get a 90, you get an A. If you get a 98, you get an A. And so I told her, I was like, you've got an A in the class. It really, the percentage doesn't matter. And she was like, I want a perfect grade. And I was like, okay. So I just let her keep revising. But I was like, you really don't have to. And she was just like, I have to do this. And I was like, okay. But I felt like that teacher in that moment being like, what a square, And I like that she's like, well, she scored the highest in the entrance exam without going to cram school. So she's like already on top, and she was in the top 20 in the recent tests. Why is she worried? She's like, but it's good that she's still, trying. We shouldn't discourage that. So she asks her to go see the treasurer of it, or the secretary, or the vice president. I think she's a vice president, maybe. Yeah. And then we cut to her. I'm rooting for her and this soccer club president. I'm rooting for her and him because they seem like opposites attract, where he's like, what's going on? Like, why'd you take the budget cuts to our soccer team? And she's like, well, many of these clubs take their activities seriously. Takamine is her name. Yes. And she's like, that's why she's the treasurer. Okay. Yes. So that's why she's looking at the budget and the budget reports. That makes sense. And she's a second year. And she's like, the cultural funds were underfunded. And then she's like, Sagawa-san. Yes. So Sagawa is his name. Sagawa, I'm rooting for you, and Takahine. I'm rooting for you both because I think it could be a match made in heaven. I think it's great. You could help her loosen up a little bit. She could keep you in line. But he seems like he has it together. He gets the reports and stuff. They're enemies to lovers, right? He was like, oh, you'll pay for this. And then he brings back the report. They are an enemies to lovers story. And I am fully supporting Sagawa and Takahine being a ship. Like, let's ship this. I hope we see more of them throughout the series and the season. But his face, it looked very Attack on Titan, where he was like, how dare you? Like, I love it. Loved it. Right? Classic. Love it. Look, girl, Takahine, he's trying to prep for Blue Lock. You don't understand how much budget is involved with that. There's a lot of expenses. So yeah. So then Mitsumi tells her, and I love Mitsumi is so impressed by her. So respectful. The thing about it is Mitsumi is so genuinely like, I wouldn't be surprised if Mitsumi is the most popular girl in school and she just doesn't realize it because she's so genuinely nice to everyone. Like, there's not a mean bone in that girl's body and not an insincere bone, too. She was just like, that was brilliant. I respect you so much, senpai. And I love that they spend the rest of the day together and she tries to learn from her to like become more organized. And in doing so, I like that Takahine realizes that she can kind of let loose and enjoy life more rather than being so focused on a rigid schedule. I also like that the other faculty in the room is like Hanazono, the teacher. They're like, she's the biggest slacker here. Should she be giving advice? I love it. I love it. They're like, should you be telling kids about organization, ma'am? But I love just how organized and detailed she is. I would kind of fall in the same, I'm not as hyper organized as Takahine was in this episode, but it's up there. I would not be able to survive without my planner. I would lose my head, right? It's got everything calculated out. But yeah. And so they go deliver some goods and then they end up missing the bus. Now, here's the thing. I totally understand like where Mitsumi is so amazed about the buses coming every 15 minutes because where I'm at, there is not a public transport where I'm at it is virtually non-existent. There's like one public transport for the county, but it takes you like, my one friend had to take it one day and it took her like 6 hours to get from one town to another because of just how many stops this one bus had to make. I'm not lying. It's really bad here. So public transportation is not even a thing. And so when I went to college and I moved to a city and there was like a bus that came every 15 minutes, I was exactly like Mitsumi. I was like, a bus every 15 minutes? There's multiple transit lines? You can take a subway? What is this? Like, I felt so like out of my element and amazed. And the people that grew up in the city, they were just like, what? It's just normal. And I was like, you don't understand. This is not a thing where I'm from. We're in the boonies. Like, unless you go visit some Amish that can take you by horse carriage, that's just not going to happen. So, and I love just how, you know, all these little idiosyncrasies and quirks that each one of these characters have, they are something that you could easily see a character like being made fun of or being ridiculed about. But like, I could see a character telling Takahine, being like, you're too organized and why are you so hyper fixated on this? Mitsumi's so kind and she's just like, that's really cool. Like, nice. Even when it doesn't work for her at the end, she still thinks that it's neat that Takahine does it her own way. And I love that. And then she's like, oh, do you want a gummy? And then that's where she's like, you'd have a tendency to space out. So let's study instead. And so I do like the message of make the most of each moment so you don't have any regrets. But at some point, you need to enjoy life as well. Like, you need to be organized and not waste time necessarily. But also, it's like, what are you wasting time on? So I like that Mitsumi tries to like quantify and qualify all of this time she spends. She's like, well, I mean, I could talk to my family on the phone less, but that's time I can't get back and it's insurmountable. So I need that time. Like it's invaluable. You know, you can't calculate its value. And she's like, all those moments I spent, they're not wasted to me. And that's kind of the point. It's like, if you can look back, I love that line that comes up here in a little bit. That's like, you won't realize until later what you spent that time on. And was it worth it or not? And that can be for relationships. It can be for jobs. It can be for whatever. You know, I remember that when I first started my job, there was a few nights that I was staying like late, working till 6 or 7 at night and trying to get the stuff caught up. And this older gentleman I worked with, he was probably in his 50s. We had to go to a trip together one day and we were driving and I was telling him about like staying late. And he goes, no, he's like, you're getting paid to work from 8 to 4:30. After 4:30, you go home. He's like, the work will be there tomorrow and they can deal with it because that's your job. They're not paying you to stay till 6 or 7. And that dramatically influenced me. I was like, oh, he was like, yeah, he's like, I know you have deadlines. He's like, but if you can only get so much done during your work hours, it'll just have to wait till tomorrow. He's like, you'll drive yourself crazy trying to do all this extra work outside when you should be enjoying your time off. And I was like, So that like deeply influenced me after that fact. And I was like, yeah, it was kind of like a Takahine moment of smelling the roses. I was like, yeah, I should not. And yeah, after that, I was like, nope, after 4:30, my work for the day is done. It's like, nope, it'll wait till tomorrow. And so, and I do like that she ends up missing the bus and, has to deal with this moment where she's like, her schedule gets thrown off, but they find this cat, they take it back to the lady. It's really sweet. And then, I like that, dreams, when you have them, a lot of times dreams are influenced by what you saw that day or what you experienced. And so her seeing Mitsumi with the cat is probably what influenced Mitsumi appearing as the cat in her dream, which is a really cute little consistency there, a continuity. And so she's like, well, it's not like panicking will make the bus come faster. And yeah, exactly. If they hadn't missed the bus, they wouldn't have found the cat for the old lady. She wouldn't have given them the gummies. And then they wouldn't have been able to see the Tokyo, like the agricultural farm on their way back, right? So it kind of all works out. And I love that, she tries, Takahine tries to like make up for time, but then they see the farm and everything. And Mitsumi's like, this is so pretty. I didn't know Tokyo had this kind of scenery. It's so nice. I also like that the show is like basically an ad for Tokyo. For tourism, being like, this is Shibuya, and here's these agriculture farms, and here's all this. Being like, okay, cool, good to know. It's really sweet. I love it. Again, this world feels very lived in. And I like that Takahine is like, look, I could learn something from Mitsumi about doing some more moderation of enjoying life as well. So yeah, we cut back to the apartment where Mitsumi is like planning out her day. Super cute. And she's like, I don't want to have any regrets. But then she stays up too late thinking of what to do and how she can cut time. And then I like that Sousuke the next morning is like, if it's cutting into your sleep, you should probably not worry about it so much. Right? I do love the dream sequence with the cat and the stars and everything. It's so pretty. I'm like, that's probably going to be the thumbnail, is her and the cat. That's probably going to be the thumbnail, if I'm honest, because it's super, super cute. Yeah, I love it. And then, yeah, Mitsumi showing up with the bags under her eyes. I love it. And I like that Sousuke's like, wow. And I love that Sousuke says wow to her schedule and how packed it is. And internally he's going, wow. I love it. He's like, ugh, like, girl, you need to maybe like be yourself. Don't try to imitate others. And I love that Mitsumi is the little black cat when Takahina sees her and jumps away. And she's like, it's not a good idea to follow my lead. And she explains that she didn't get into her preferred middle school, and so it took a toll on her. And that's what's pushed her to be so like hyper serious about her planning. And she's like, you don't need to maybe do what I did, because I have a reason behind what I'm doing. There's a motivation I have that you don't have. So it's okay if you don't do things like I did. And then the soccer club president comes. He's like, I got your report. Here you go, ma'am. And I like the best friends behind him, like the vice captain's like, yeah, ready to get at her, right? All the data you could ever want. I'm rooting for this couple so much. I love it. I'm rooting for them, where she looks at it and he's like, these are our past achievements. And then he's just waiting for her to like be shocked. And she's like, no, I can't complain. She's like, this is really well done. And then she's like, did you do this yourself, Sagawa-san? And oh my God, just smoldered him, like sent him to another stratosphere. I was like, yes, that is love at first sight. He's like, yeah, I love you, backed away like 50 feet. He's like, yeah, I did. He's like, don't start smiling out of nowhere. I love how embarrassed he was. And then the vice captain's like, Sagawa. And she's like, where does he find all that energy? See, they're a match made in heaven. He has all this energy. She kind of like appreciates and respects him for that. They both can compile good data reports. Enemies to lovers. I am rooting for Takahine and Sagawa-san. Rooting for them. I hope they show up together later on this season. That'd be really cute. And so then, yeah. And she's like, wow, Takahine is so cool. And he's like, but you should do things your own way. And she's like, but I spent all this time working on this. And he's like, but what does he say? She's like, I want to stick this out since I spent all this time on it. And I love what Sousuke says. He's like, but sticking to a method that you know isn't going to work for you is the definition of wasting time. So yeah, he's like, if this career path, if this angle isn't going for you, going after it is going to waste your time. So don't do that. Love it. Love it. Love this episode. So freaking cute. And I love that she's like, oh, you were really cold there. Like in this moment, Sousuke was like doing like, had the smile on his face. And she's like, oh, you were so cold with your logic. And he's like, oh, I didn't want to come off as a jerk. And that's the thing. I think, you know, Sousuke is showing different sides of himself to her now and being honest. And one of Sousuke's things is that when he like pushes his truth to you, it can come off really cold. And she's like, oh, and he's like, oh, I don't want to be a jerk. I like that they had this conversation. And she's like, cold but true. And he's like, oh, you've got things going for you. You've got your own pace, your own style of doing things. It's fine. Don't be mad at me. I like that she saw the side of him now so that if it comes up later, she's already seen it once. Such a cute episode. So cute. Oh, adorable. I loved this. Yes, please. So I really enjoyed this. This was a really super cute episode. I'm very curious to know your comments down below. Please no spoilers, hints, or clues, but this series is just absolutely adorable and I love it. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back real soon with more Skip and Loafer. Bye!